Hey guys, me again. Okay, so if you've watched 1, 2, I was gonna make third one be about the demons that I've had, but I think I'm just gonna make my third one about ghosts because I'll tell you about demons later. Um, so so I get back from Ohio and I lived with my bros for a while, and we've always kind of talked and stuff. I guess the one day that was really scary to my bro, that he lived upstairs and I lived like on the floor below him. Well, my aunt, it was like his bedroom was right here, my aunt's was right here, and then across the hall was me and then his dad's. So we were sleeping, or we were all going to bed, and I'm messaging him on Facebook, and I'm like, "Bro, are you walking upstairs?" And he's like, "Nah, me and Lou. Lou was his cat. He's like, "No, I'm sleeping in bed with Lou, and my dad's asleep." And I'm like, "Then who the fuck's walking upstairs?" He's like, "I don't know. What are you talking about? There's somebody walking upstairs. There's nobody walking up here." And I'm like, "I hear people walking." He's like, grab a cross and fucking do something with it." I'm like, yeah, um, okay. So I go to sleep and I had my back turned to the door, and I kind of heard something. Like I kind of heard a, a scratching noise against the wall. So I kind of looked and I saw an old man's face looking at me. And when you do, like, you kind of like think you see something and go back to sleep, and then you go like, "Ooh." I did a double take, and there was nobody at the door. I'm like watching the door constantly. I'm like, "Oh my god, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck's going on?" Well, apparently, we do have a ghost in the basement. We had a ghost in the basement because they had ferrets down there before I moved, and they would lock the ferrets up in their own cages, and in the morning the cages would be open, and so they were pretty much saying, well, they always joked about it, and like when I finally moved there, the last time I moved there, I slept in the basement, and I always had to have a light on, which I have to have lights on. I can't sleep in the dark. I have to actually have a light on. So we're sitting there, and you know, just kind of chilling, I guess, and all of a sudden I hear I'm about to go to bed, and all of a sudden I hear crash in the back room, because like the basement was divided into three halves. There was the room, there was the back storage part, and then there was the laundry room. And I had two doors to my room. And the crash came from the over there, from the storage side, and I looked and got enough courage to turn the lights on quickly and go see what it was. And I looked and there was nothing there. Like nothing had been fallen over. Nothing was fallen over. Nothing looked like it had been moved. And I legit got chills. I'm like, what the hell was that crash? The fuck? So, I go in the other room, kind of go and sleep, and all of a sudden I hear knock, knock, knock. Go to my room, go to the this laundry area, and I didn't see nobody, and that's where the knocking came from. I'm like, fuck, I must be hearing shit. Turned up my TV a little bit and laid back down, and all of a sudden I hear a knock by my head. Oh, fuck. And it sounded like a knock from the other side. And I just acted like I was asleep. I'm like, oh my god, there's nothing here, there's nothing here, there's nothing here. I'm not listening to this. I can't hear this. And that was like the end of that. Like I couldn't even fucking sleep there. I mean, I slept there, but I'd have to take like pills and shit to get to sleep because I was so paranoid. Well, one day last summer, me and my bro planned to go to his alley. He always said his alley was haunted, and I never believed him. I'm like, oh, your alley's not haunted. What the fuck he's talking about? shit you not, it was fucking haunted. Cause we'd go, we'd hang out with all of our friends, and then we'd come back and we'd sit behind his garage and in my car, and we'd have like a cigarette or smoke a little pot, and we'd hear things like legit. He had a chain link fence right by his garage, and we'd hear that shake, and we'd like look. There's no wind. There's nobody out there, and then you just hear the weirdest shit, and you'd see the weirdest shit. Well, one day we got the balls enough to go to where the most haunted place was, which is like halfway down the alley. There was like a wooden fence, and it was like wooden part space, wooden part space, wooden part. And we walked there because he'd actually seen like a figure standing there a couple times when he'd be out for a cigarette. So we're fucking around. I'm like, if there's a ghost here, do something, prove that you're here. Everything that they do on Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters, and all of a sudden there was a tree in the corner, and stuff was getting like nuts were being thrown at us, or like rocks, and like, dude, there's no rocks around. Like, there's rocks, but there's no. This tree was not of nut tree, and like they were being aimed at us. So I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, so my bro was kind of standing behind me, and I'm like, oh, so you have no balls enough to come up and talk to us, and you're gonna throw nuts and rocks at us? All of a sudden I hear a thump. I look behind me. My bro was passed out on the fucking ground. Like, legit passed the fuck out on the ground. I'm like, bro, bro, wake up. Bro, get up. Bro, get up. Kind of gets up dazed, and I'm like, what just happened? He's like, I felt something go through me, and I passed out. I didn't know what to do. So I'm like, dude, go back to the house, and I'll see you in a minute. Just go by the garage. Don't do nothing. So I go back and I antagonize it again. And I'm like, so you don't have the balls to do something to me? Why don't you do something to me instead of my friend? Why are you gonna be like this? All this and that. The bottom space of that fence, I saw a fucking face look at me. Just like, and I'm like, oh shit. And bolted. I don't think I've ever ran that fast in my life, but I ran. And he's like, what happened? What happened? I'm like, fucking ghost just looked at me in the fucking face. I thought I was gonna die from its eyes. Needless to say. Well, me and my other bro, my bro I lived with, and my best friend bro, we kind of, we were like, oh, let's go back to the fence and let's do a voice recording. So we go, and my bro has his voice recorder out, and I'm like, if there's a ghost here, let your presence be known. You're a slight knock. And I'm like, okay, what is your name? And you heard it in the voice recording, but you didn't hear it in person. You heard like a faint voice, but you didn't hear it. You had to actually hear it on the voice recording to hear what it said. And I'm like, how old are you? And I don't remember what it said, but I remember his name. I forgot his name too. Fuck, but it said his name, and it was a guy. And I heard it, and I'm like, if you don't like us here, knock on the wood 2 times for yes, and knock once for no. And you hear, oh shit, let's get out of here. So we're like, okay, well, we're gonna go. So we go home and we listen to the voice recordings again. And for some odd reason, it always gets to me. But later that year, we went on a road trip, and it was, I'm gonna use names. So don't get mad at me if you watch this and you're mad that your name's on here. I'm sorry. It was my bro Jay, my bro Chris, my bro Travis, and my bro David. And we went to Green Bay. Well, me and Jay and Travis, we didn't sleep. Like legit, we were out all night and all day. Like we went to like everybody goes to bed. Jay had a camper, so we went to his camper. We were smoking pot and smoking, and all of a sudden we'd hear somebody walking around, and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. So no, we thought it was his dad. So we'd be really quiet. We'd be like, and this like he would go out and he'd look and there'd be nobody there. Like none of the house lights would be on, or he wouldn't see anybody. Well, then all of a sudden we hear walking around the camper, which was weird because his back of his camper was next to the garage. So there's no way someone can walk around that. So I'm sitting near the window, Jay's sitting next to me, and then Travis is sitting across. All of a sudden I heard a breathing, like, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I kind of thought it was like Jay next to me, and I'm like, and all of a sudden, hey cutie, what's up? I look at Jay, I'm like, Jay? I look out the window, and I swear to God, I saw a guy's face. Like, not, I don't want to say it, like Mexican kind of face, like kind of round, tan, bald head, black eyebrows, brown eyes. And he looked at me, and I just looked at Jay. I'm like, freaking out like a little girl. So he's just kind of like, I'm like, we're gonna go. Let's go somewhere. So we went to McDonald's and we smoked another bowl, and then we went to the beach, and that's when we went to the lake, and that's when we went for the road trip afterwards. But yeah, that was pretty much the scariest time. Um, so let's go part 3. Watch the next ones if you want to get scared some more.